Hi, I'm Katie Joy Cochran, and this is Permission to Be Curious, the podcast where we ask real questions, have real conversations, and we don't shy away from the things people would rather we just ignore. So today, we need to talk. Specifically, let's talk about Elon Musk, federal benefits, and this absurd idea that people who use them are part of some parasite class. Yes, you heard that right. Apparently, if you rely on disability benefits, Social Security, food assistance, or any number of government programs, you're not a person with needs. You're a parasite. Well, buckle up because I have some thoughts about this. So let's define some things. First off, words matter. Calling people a parasite class isn't just some casual insult. It is dehumanizing. It suggests that people who receive federal benefits are feeding off society without contributing anything. And let's be real, that's not only factually incorrect, it's also just a wildly out of touch thing to say. Federal benefits exist because people exist. Life happens. Disabilities happen. Illness, aging, job loss, caregiving, these are not moral failures. They're just part of being human. And let's talk about contributions for a second, because if someone is getting disability benefits, they've likely worked, either themselves or through family members who've paid into the system. If someone gets food assistance, it's because we as a society decided that letting people starve is not actually a great look. And newsflash, elderly people, disabled people, veterans, and low-income families, they are all part of the economy, the workforce, and the fabric of society. So if anyone wants to call us parasites, I have a simple question. Do you want to live in a world where people just get thrown away the second they need help? No? Then maybe let's not talk like that. So here's the part that really gets me. You know who actually benefits from federal money? Billionaires. Oh yeah, the same people who rant about government handouts are constantly taking them. Tax breaks for the ultra-wealthy, government subsidies for their businesses, bailouts when they screw up the economy. Somehow that's good business, but when a disabled person gets Social Security disability insurance, it's suddenly an economic crisis? Let me be clear. This is not about whether rich people should exist. It's about the sheer hypocrisy of calling poor, disabled, or elderly people parasites while simultaneously enjoying government-funded space exploration, electric vehicle subsidies, and tax loopholes big enough to drive a Tesla through. If needing support makes someone a parasite, then by Musk's own logic, every billionaire getting government funding is really just an expensive leech. Let's talk about this whole idea that success comes solely through hard work. Because I love good work ethic, but let's not pretend billionaires got where they are by pulling themselves up by their bootstraps. Musk himself? He was born into wealth. He had financial safety nets. He had access to resources that most people will never even dream of. And that's not a crime, but let's not pretend he built everything from nothing, while the rest of us are just lazy moochers. Disability isn't laziness. Poverty isn't laziness. Chronic illness isn't a moral failing. And anyone who believes otherwise should try living on disability benefits for a month and see if they still think that it's some kind of luxury lifestyle. So why does this matter? Here's the real issue with comments like this. They're not just offensive, they're dangerous. Because when people with massive platforms say things like this, it fuels policies that make life harder for those who already struggle. It encourages lawmakers to cut benefits, to ignore the needs of disabled people, and to create even more barriers to basic survival. It also shifts the blame. Instead of looking at systemic inequality, wage stagnation, or the lack of healthcare access, it lets people say, oh, the problem isn't the system. The problem is them. And once people start believing that, it gets a whole lot easier to justify cruelty. So yeah, I take issue with this kind of rhetoric. And if you're someone who relies on benefits, whether it's Social Security, disability, food assistance, or anything else, let me be absolutely clear. You are not a parasite. You are a human being, and you deserve to exist with dignity, period. So I just want you to remember a few things. And I appreciate you listening. But what I really want to get across is federal benefits exist because life happens. Billionaires take more from the system than anyone receiving disability benefits ever will. The self-made myth is just that. It's a myth. Another incredibly important takeaway is that dehumanizing language like parasite class isn't just mean, it's harmful. But the biggest thing I want you to understand as we end this conversation is that if you need support, you are still a whole, worthy, and valuable human being. So here's my challenge. Next time someone says something like this, whether it's online, whether it's in a conversation, or if it was in the news, push back. Make them explain themselves. Because I promise you, the second someone has to actually defend why an elderly person on Social Security is a parasite, but a billionaire taking a tax break isn't, their argument will fall apart fast. Also, if you're feeling a little spicy, you could always remind them that actual parasites tend to hoard resources while giving nothing in return. I'm just saying. So that's it for today. Thanks for hanging out with me for this conversation. If you enjoyed this episode, share it, leave a review, or send it to that one person in your life who just insists on reminding you that billionaires are simply misunderstood. So curiosity is courage. Keep asking, keep listening, keep connecting.